Yes, what is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 38 of the J&J Dating Dynamics podcast. Today we'll go with Johnny Depp's favorite new podcast. I'm number 1J, that's number 2J, and welcome to episode 38 of your weekly dose of everything your father should have taught you but did not. Justin, how you doing, my friend?
Not bad, brother. How about you?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. It is Sunday night once again. We were supposed to have our friend and friend of the program, Donovan Sharp, on with us today, but due to strenuous circumstances, he was not able to make it on. Hopefully, he'll be able to come on here next week and finish telling us those enthralling stories he was telling us about during episode 37. But today, we are talking about men needing to step up. I think we mean from a societal sense, not necessarily from an individual standpoint. But it is Justin's topic. So, Justin, am I wrong there? Are we talking about a societal sense, men need to step up, or are we talking about individual?
Yeah, I'm just pretty much getting fed up with, I'm sure everyone out there listening is also getting fed up with how everything's going. And I just think we're really being distracted by things that don't even really matter to us. They do on a grand scheme, but in the biggest sense, what's really affecting us right down to the bottom line
Justin
is our...
froze up there. I think what he's... Justin, you there, buddy?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Or did I freeze up?
I'm not sure if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Well, I'm not sure if you guys can hear me, but I'm going to keep going anyway. I think it's just, I'm sick of society being under pressure every day to just for what? Can you hear me at
Do
all,
it live
Joel?
here, guys. Give us 1 second.
I'm not sure if Joel can hear me at
Justin,
all.
can you see me? Can you hear me?
I can see you and hear you
I can
just
hear you
fine.
perfectly. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're back on. Somebody's internet skipped out there for a second. Apologize, folks. We do it live here. So, Justin, sorry, catch me up, buddy. We are fed up with things that don't really matter, et cetera, et cetera. Like what? Give us an example.
So, all right. So, perfect example. And I can't discredit this, so I don't want people to misinterpret. But the whole thing that just happened with Bud Light,
Okay.
we needed that to happen. We did. We absolutely needed that to happen to show these corporations that we're not just gonna sit down and take it and have this shit thrown down our throats. Like we're not gonna take it.
Right.
But it kind of bothers me that that's the things that we'll stand up for. Like, okay, I get it. It's not just about the beer. It's about the point. You know what I mean?
Right.
But what if, as a whole, men, the average working man, myself included, we're not paid what we should be paid? Absolutely not. And it's an issue. Inflation
Agreed.
has gone out the roof. And honestly, our bosses, the people that pay us at the end of the week, and it goes across any industry, dude, we're oversaturated and we're just worked to the bone. Like
I actually think that's a great.
we're just the whole world is filled with greed.
Yeah, I think that you bring up something very, very important is that we're not getting paid enough. Okay, so we always talk here. We think back to where a man could get out of high school, go get a factory job, and support a family of four, buy a home, et cetera, et cetera. You can't do that today. But I think a perfect microcosm, if you want to, if you're in the audience and you want to dive into that deeper, look at the city of Miami right now. And Justin, I think you left Miami at exactly the right place because Miami's in a situation right now where native Miamians and people who've been here for years are getting priced out of their own city. Miami's inflation is completely out of control, and it started with the pandemic, with all the New Yorkers coming down and overpaying for all this housing. And when housing goes up, everything else follows. And you're absolutely right. It's a far more important issue than whether or not Bud Light's hiring a tranny to do their marketing. You're absolutely right on that. That is a huge
Exactly.
success.
I mean, I don't have the stats, but you know, there's just a lot going on, and I think we're just blind to it. And
And I
our
got news for
country
you.
is suffering. You
And I
know,
got news for you. It's about to get worse. We're entering a presidential primary season, and it's going to be silly season. You're going to have Trump out there ripping on everybody, every other Republican trying to hedge their bet, and Joe Biden and what's her name, Kamala Harris, saying whatever the hell they want to say. So every minority group out there that thinks they need to, and I don't mean Black, Asian people. I mean transsexuals, whatever the cool thing to be of the day is, they're going to be out there getting louder and louder and louder because it is an election year. The election started when the first Republicans started declaring, and it's about to get a whole lot worse. What do you say about that?
I believe so, man. I just see everything going down the tubes, and I'm like, dude, what's really happening? I had a suggestion the other day on one of our episodes where I was saying maybe a way to think like change things up would be to give men more money, increase the pay gap. And it's funny, don't label me misogynist, ladies, because I had a couple women watching the show that agreed with me. And if ladies were in the position to be stay-at-home moms, maybe it wouldn't be so frowned upon.
You know what? I think, especially when you talk to your average girl out there in the dating market, they just want to be taken care of.
Yeah, that's
I,
all
I,
women
I think,
want.
yeah,
So
I think feminism has completely gone off the rails in that regard.
if we can provide completely for a woman, we have no problem doing that for the most part.
No, man, we
It's
are
just that
designed to do that. We want to do that.
absolutely.
We
But the way that the
there,
prices are these days, I I can't cover every single, and I make great money. I can't cover every single little thing. Like it's insane.
No, dude, I completely understand, and trust me, at least in Miami, the situation is not getting any easier. I mean, back when I don't remember exactly what it was when you were here, but I remember you could get an Uber Eats meal for 4 people, $75. Now a meal for two costs you 65. It's being completely. It's just crazy, man. The inflation, at least down here in Miami, we can feel it, and
Dude,
like you said
I mean,
earlier, it's a much bigger issue than Bud Light hiring a trainee.
I'm up here in the New York area and it's the same as Miami. Like the prices are just ridiculous.
And by the
And
way, I'm gonna be in New York
really
next week.
awesome.
Yep.
I think if men were to actually band together and demand more pay, like we need the inflation in our pockets. That's what the American people need.
But see, that's the
Seriously.
problem. We can't band together. This isn't a problem that's going to get solved by an organization. This isn't a problem that's going to get solved by men's rights activists. This is a problem that's only going to be solved generationally. When enough men watch enough of this type of content to realize that the world is actually stacked against us.
Bro, if men got together and all went on strike across the nation like they just did with Bud Light and Target, we can definitely get something accomplished in the workplace.
But what does that look like? Does it literally mean every man sitting at home not going to work?
No, it means men out there in front of their jobs protesting, waiting until their bosses increase their pay. We'll go to work and sit down at work and not work.
Yeah, but you need a
A
critical
whole
mass to
entire
do
United
that.
sit down.
Yeah, you need a critical mass to achieve something like that, though.
Yeah,
And I'm not sure
and
it's doable. So what's a
honestly,
practical solution?
honestly, Andrew Tate had the power, and honestly, they silenced him because of it. A guy like
Oh,
that can
he's
can
out there
make
now.
something like he can fuel a movement like that.
He could potentially. Very few people could. It would have to be some kind of consortium between him and the Fresh and Fit guys, Rolo, and I mean,
Yeah, it would
it,
take
it is this. It is
some
this.
type of
It is this easy.
hashtag and a big push for it to happen. But once it takes off, it'll be like wildfire.
Sure. Now, the question is, where do we practically go from here? Because honestly, I don't see that as a practical solution.
What was that?
I mean, I'm saying, where can we go? Where can we do from a practical standpoint? Because I don't think that's actually a practical solution. I mean, at that point, media is going to
Honestly,
think each and every one of us, misogynist pigs, blah blah blah. They want more money, etc., etc. I think you're freezing up again, buddy. Hang on. Yeah, Justin, you're freezing up again, my man. Say that one more time.
I said honestly, from a practical standpoint, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
From a practical standpoint, what can we actually do? I did something with myself and I chose to uproot myself and I
Right.
literally added about between $30,000 to $40,000 in extra income annually by moving. So I decided to make more money and I'm still spending more because everything's gone up. So just because
Right.
I'm making more doesn't change the price of everything else. Everything else continues to go up.
Sure. Now we're all
Literally,
fed up
every
with it.
time I turn my head, something is going up.
Yeah. Yeah. Fortunately, gas hasn't followed. I mean, it's gone up a bit, but it hasn't really followed the inflation patterns. Let me ask you though, how does that affect the dating market? In your view?
Uh, um, so, all right, I will say this. Coffee dates became popular. Foodie calls became a thing.
Yeah. I'm all
And
for coffee dates, by the way.
you're all for it?
Yeah, I'm not taking a girl to dinner. I'm gonna try to take her to a cup of coffee
Okay, but explain to me why.
because it's lower investment on my part. Because I don't want to
Exactly.
spend the money.
Exactly. So you're gonna go through more money on dates, just taking women out
Not if I'm
every single
spending
week.
less
So
than not if I'm spending less on each individual date.
exactly. But all right, let's say you're going old school traditional, right?
Right.
And you're presenting yourself like a man of value, which you are. So you are taking women out either for drinks or for dinner. All right, so what if you don't do dinner, but you're still doing drinks? You still want her to dress up nice.
Sure.
Now, you have a couple drinks. Now do that on a Friday night. Do that on a Thursday. Do it on a Saturday. Do it like combine that and then see what it comes out to at the end of the month, along with your monthly bills. Like as a
Combine
single man,
dinner, drinks, like in a monthly sense.
yeah, yeah.
Well, with dinner, it would blow out of the water. But I mean, I think reasonably, a, a date with just getting a few drinks, $80.
But the point of it is things are adding up. You can't really
Oh, I agree with that.
do things the way I've noticed with more money, I still can't do things the way I used to do.
Oh, I 100% agree. I'm making more money right now than I was 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm getting far less for it. Absolutely.
I,
I don't think
I
anybody
saw I saw an interesting stat the other day that said if you look at the inflation rate with white collar men to blue collar men, there was a chart and it went like this for white collar, and the blue collar kind of stayed just like this down here from the 70s. And it's with inflation from the 70s, we're actually making 15% less than back then.
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like back then, like we've said, you could get out of high school, get a factory job, and support a family. You can't do that today. You need at least two
Not at all.
factory jobs. At least two
And
factory
I
jobs.
honestly think that that is wrong with the structure of dating.
How's up?
How so?
Yeah,
If men were making more money, you would have less independent women out there. You would
which
have, there's a lot of men out there that put women in situations where they have to step up. And if those men were stepping up, the girls wouldn't have to be working.
no, you're absolutely. Look, you're gonna get no argument from me in that the current status of at least America, it's mostly men's fault. 100%. I agree with you there. Where I'm not sure I follow is like, where do we go from here? What is the practical solution? Is there a practical solution? There may not be one, except the
I don't know.
generational change that happens over time.
I honestly think that there needs to be a switch in people's morals. I think women need to want to become wives and men need to want to become husbands. People want to, like, we need people to want to have families and want to get married again and want to live that traditional life.
You
We
don't think the
need,
majority of people want that today?
absolutely not.
Okay, I agree with that.
I think people mentally want that. They fantasize it, they fantasize about it, they think they
Sure.
want it, but they're literally swiping left in
I think
people in
most
real
women
life.
do want it. I think most women do want it, but they want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to live
Yeah,
and party till 36, 37 and still go out and have 3 kids.
and it's not
We
realistic.
know that's undoable. So once you cross the age, the threshold of 32, I think it is, it's already a high risk pregnancy. You're not having no 3 kids. Sorry to
I
say.
don't know, Joel. You think we can fix this somehow? You think this is just
Honestly,
there's no going back?
I think it's got to be a generational change. Things are going to have to happen very, very slowly and over time. And this movement, this quote unquote red pill movement, is a start, but that's the problem. Once it goes mainstream, like it is going with Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit, etc., now it starts coming under fire. Now it starts getting shut down, etc., etc. So it's a cycle of diminishing returns. The more we try, the less we're going to be able to accomplish. So it's
Yeah.
got to happen, in a metaphorical sense, from within, like spontaneously, grassroots level. And it's going to be slow, and it's going to be, like I said, a generational change. Our generation, we're never going to see it. You and me, we're never going to see it. Doubt our kids are going to see it happen.
Do you feel like maybe that, all right, this is interesting. Do you feel that we can be like us and the whole red pill community? I mean, if you look at the beginning of the women's rights movement, like this could be the beginning. We could be the birth of the men's rights movement. It sounds weird and soft, but hell no.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think it'd be called the men's rights movement, but
No, I trust that's
yeah,
that sounds way too soft.
yeah, maybe call
But
it a renaissance, or something.
but I
Yeah,
can
I think it
definitely
could
see
be.
it.
I
Like,
absolutely think it could be.
I mean, if
You
you
know,
look back 100 years, that's when all these feminists start to claim that the oppression was going on, and it started, and within the next 40 years, women gain momentum, and then the birth of the women's rights movement. But honestly, I feel like we could be on the precipice of it right now with
we
all the
could
red pill
be,
stuff.
but it's not going to happen like it happened before. It's not going to be mass protests on the street and constitutional amendments.
But also, I feel like the government just has way too much control. I feel like back in the day, Americans had spirit, we had soul, we had a say, we made our community. Now people don't really, there's no community. It's all individuals. And
Have you ever?
honestly,
And I think a big problem of that is the media, obviously. But have you ever seen the HBO show The Newsroom?
no.
Now, don't get me wrong; it's a liberal soapbox. It's written by Aaron Sorkin. But
Okay.
the very beginning of the show, the opening scene has a monologue that is very powerful. You may have heard it over social media. Let me bring it up real quick because I do think it's 100% spot on. So let me find it here and bring it up. You've probably heard it on social media. What's it called? The Newsroom opening scene. All right, let me bring it up here. I got it. Share screen. Newsroom opening scene. All right, here we go. Can you hear? Justin, you got me? You're there?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Come on.
Let's move on to the next question. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Jenny.
Yeah, I remember this. Well, we got frozen. It's frozen. Joel, can you hear me? Hmm.
Justin, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Test, test, 1 2 1 2. Okay, we are back, thankfully. All right. Sorry, everybody. I guess we're having internet issues today. Let me bring that back up. and we'll get right to it. Justin, you got this? You can hear it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
I don't see anything on the screen.
Great. As long as we can hear it.
No, there's nothing on the screen. I can't hear anything.
Oh, because it's not sharing. Dang it. My bad. Dude, we do it live here. All right, here we go.
Lewis and Sharon said it: diversity and opportunity, and freedom and freedom.
We missed the question.
The question is, why is America the greatest country in the world?
I'm not letting you go back to the airport without answering the question.
Yeah, I've seen this.
I think most people have, but I think it's very poignant to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, our Constitution is a masterpiece. James Madison was a genius. The Declaration of Independence is, for me, the single greatest piece of American writing. You don't look satisfied.
One's a set of laws and the other's a declaration of war. I want a human moment from you. What about the people? Why is America
Not the greatest country in the world, Professor. That's my answer.
You're saying
Yes.
Let's talk about
Fine. Sharon, the NEA is a loser. Yeah, it accounts for a penny out of our paycheck, but he gets to hit you with it anytime he wants. It doesn't cost money. It costs both. Column in.
Hear me?
I hear you, but the video stopped.
Yeah, I stopped it because my thing froze up for a second.
Tell students that America is so star-spangled awesome that we're the only ones in the world who have freedom.
Canada has freedom. Japan has freedom. The UK, France, Italy, Germany, Spain,
Australia, Belgium has freedom. So 207 sovereign states in the world, like 180 of them have freedom.
All right.
And yet you, sorority girl,
just in case you accidentally wander into a voting booth one day,
there's some things you should know. And one of them is, there is absolutely no evidence to support the statement that we're the greatest country in the world. We're 7th in literacy, 27th in math, 22nd in science,
49th in life expectancy, 178th in infant mortality, 3rd in median household income, number 4 in labor force, and number 4 in exports. We lead the world in only 3 categories: number of incarcerated citizens per capita, number of adults who believe angels are real, and defense spending, where we spend more than the next 26 countries combined, 25 of whom are allies. Now, none of this is the fault of a 20-year-old college student, but you nonetheless are, without a doubt, a member of the worst generation ever. So when you ask what makes us the greatest country in the world, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yosemite? Sure used to be. We stood up for what was right. We fought for moral reasons. We passed laws, struck down laws for moral reasons. We waged wars on poverty, not poor people. We sacrificed. We cared about our neighbors. We put our money where our mouths were, and we never beat our chest. We built great big things, made ungodly technological advances, explored the universe, cured diseases, and we cultivated the world's greatest artists and the world's greatest economy. We reached for the stars, acted like men. We aspired to intelligence. We didn't belittle it. It didn't make us feel inferior. We didn't identify ourselves by who we voted for in the last election, and we didn't scare so easy. We were able to be all these things and do all these things because we were informed by great men who were revered. First step in solving any problem is recognizing there is one. America is not the greatest country in the world anymore.
I don't think anybody can say it better themselves.
Not at all. I saw that a long time ago, man, and that
It's been
struck
out
a
for a
chord.
while. I think most people have seen it. I just think it's very poignant to the conversation.
It struck
And
a chord.
yeah, what he says at the end there is so freaking true. We were able to do all that stuff because we were informed. We didn't have a media that was bought out and paid for by the government and by corporations and politicians. We didn't have
Seriously.
24-hour cable news that had this need to fill airtime in order to sell ads. So to fill airtime, they just put garbage out. And eventually that garbage gets bought out as well.
People didn't hate their neighbors. People had respect for one another.
Yeah, see, not to get too political here, but that's why I stopped being a Republican. Right there. You just said it. People need to love their neighbors. That's why I stopped being a Republican. Don't
Why?
get me wrong. I'm a small government conservative. You know, I believe in lower taxes. I believe in a prohibitively strong military, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the problem is now I have to be homophobic. Now I have to believe poor people are getting a sweet ride, and I have to fear intellect. But the most important requirement to be a Republican now is that I have to hate Democrats. If I don't, I'm not a real Republican. That's the problem.
It's funny because a lot of people are assuming that just because like I'm sort of more into the red pill nowadays, that I'm on the red side.
And that's
to
the
be
problem.
honest,
Everybody tries to identify you by one belief that you voice out, and everybody tries to identify you as this or that, and suddenly you're the enemy.
I don't identify as any particular thing. I don't use pronouns. I don't use Democrat, Republican. I am myself. I am my own person. I
Exactly.
identify in my morals and what I believe in and what I stand for.
You know,
Seriously.
I'm gonna tell you a story, and again, I hate to get political here, but during the 2016 election, Hillary versus Trump. Was it Hillary? Yeah, it was Hillary versus Trump. I didn't vote for either of them. I voted for Evan McMullen, who was an independent, right? And I have friends both in the Democrat side and the Republican side, and they all told me, they all asked me who I voted for. I told them I voted for Evan McMullen. Oh, you took a vote away from Trump. Oh, you took a vote away from Hillary. That was Hillary's vote. That was Trump's vote. That's the problem. That's not Trump's vote. That's not Hillary's vote. That's my fucking vote. And I give it to whoever the hell I want to. I'm my own
Facts.
person, and I can vote for whoever the hell I could vote for myself if I wanted to. I could write myself in, and that's not taking anything away from Trump, and that's not taking anything away from Hillary. I don't care who you think I should have voted for. I'm going to vote for who I think.
So I hate to get so.
Jay Blaze says Trump being elected woke up so many sleeper feminists. It absolutely did.
Yeah.
It woke up a lot of people, for better or for
I
worse.
mean, you know me. I really don't like to get too far off topic from the dating world, but I honestly feel like this goes beyond men and women. I honestly feel like that
It
this
absolutely does.
has been programmed. We've been programmed to act this way.
Yeah.
And it's taken a long time for it to happen, but it's
You know what?
happened.
I've heard this take on. I've seen this take on social media, and I think it's absolutely true. China, Russia, Iran. You think they're spending time debating in PTA meetings about trannies reading kids stories?
No,
No.
they're plotting on taking us out.
Yeah, they're plotting on how they're going to buy us out, because that's how we're going to be taken over. It's not going to be militarily. They're going to buy us out. Guess
I
what?
don't know, man.
There's a damn thing we can do to stop it. And by that point, we're not going to be able to go on dates anymore.
Seriously.
So,
I wish we had Donovan in tonight so we could hear his opinion on it.
Yeah, no, and when we have him on, hopefully next week, we'll ask him about all of this and see where he's at. But I suspect he's probably around the same page that we are.
Jay Blaze, tell us what you think. I said it last week and I'll say it again. Do you think
Yeah, he says
increasing
China's TikTok is so different than ours. It is. It's actually, I don't think it's even called TikTok.
do you think increasing men's pay will change things for the better? What do you think, Jay Blaze?
See, but I think while Jay Blaze formulates an answer, I actually think that's an easy way out. I don't think that's men stepping up. Men
How
stepping up
is
would be men need to make more money, absolutely. But I don't want my salary to go up just because every man's salary is going up. You know, if everybody's salary goes up, nobody's salary goes up.
yeah, but what a all right, so you think everything's right with inflation? Everything's going
No,
up except our pay?
No, absolutely not. Inflation is a separate problem that needs to be addressed, but that's not addressed by raising wages. That only exacerbates the issue. We're in this problem with inflation because of all the stimulus that was given out during the pandemic.
So
That's why we're in.
what's your solution to this problem?
Well, the solution to inflation is raising interest rates. That any economist knows that you got to raise interest rates, which they are going up, hopefully, and hopefully it does bring the inflation under control. But what I'm trying to get at is that we don't need to accept a pay increase for men just because it's a pay increase for men. Men need to work harder in order to earn their increases, and that's where I think my view that this is going to be a generational thing that's going to take time comes in.
I don't know, but I can't speak on behalf of lazy men out there. But
There's the problem.
I work hard. I work a lot of hours. I bust my ass, and I am undervalued and underappreciated in almost any job and any field I go to.
Most men are undervalued and underappreciated.
And bosses do it on purpose because they don't want to show you that you have value because then they know they're gonna have to pay you more.
Yeah. Well, and if I'm a business owner, of course, I'm going to try to get away with paying as little as possible. But that's where you got to make it undeniable, right? That's where it's your house. Jay Blaze says, yes, but Joel, work hard for what? Ran through. Yeah. Well, that's another mentality issue, Jay Blaze. If what you're working for is to get women, that's a problem.
Yeah,
Women can't be the focus of your life.
absolutely
You
not.
got to work harder and make money for yourself. And when you do that, when you improve yourself from a financial standpoint and hopefully a physical standpoint, you're going to hopefully attract, I don't like to say higher value women, but a higher quality of woman.
Absolutely.
Women's values decides the values of the country. I 1000% agree with you there. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Just like men build a house, women make a home. Men build a country, women can make the country what it is.
Seriously.
I think that the single family or the individual family is a microcosm of the country. Anyway, we're doing a lot of rambling. This is episode 38 of the J&J Dating Dynamics podcast, Johnny Depp's favorite new podcast. I'm number 1J, as the sign says right behind me. That guy over there, that's number 2J, because he was late today. And this is episode 38. We're talking about men needing to step up, and it's led us to all kinds of interesting avenues and discussions. Did you have any videos to bring up today?
No, not today. I just want to touch base on this.
Okay, well, I definitely do think it's an interesting topic. And I really wish Donovan would have been able to make it in today. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of like any solutions that we can have out there. I just feel like like I said, and the reason I bring up these topics is because I myself am working hard, busting my ass. I'm undervalued, and I see my money just going and going, and I make great money.
I think a lot
Like,
of the problems might be local in nature. Also, I think there's a
oh,
lot.
very local.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I
Miami,
wasn't in this area,
yeah,
I
most of
would
the
be
East
doing
Coast
great.
is not pricing itself out of existence. You go to a place like Texas, even Arizona, still, though Arizona's not probably not going the right way. But you go to places like Texas, Ohio, the Midwest, Wisconsin, Tennessee, or the South, Georgia, Alabama, these places,
Yeah.
making what I'm making right now, dude, I'd be in a 4-bedroom home.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But because of where we live, it's almost unaffordable to live. And
Yeah.
like you said, the locals are being pushed out, priced out.
At least in Miami, I don't know what it's like in New York or New Jersey right now, but in Miami, native Mayans and people who've been here for decades are getting priced out of their own city. And it's
It's insane.
insane. You see it daily, people moving out of here. Because you just can't. You can't. I'm contemplating it myself. It's insane.
Yeah. Dude, I live
I
right across the water from Manhattan on the
Yeah.
Jersey side, and it's expensive. It is expensive.
I bet taxes
Dude,
are no joke. And I would say in that way, Miami's probably worse than New York and New Jersey right now because Miami's got a very low tax rate. Florida in general has very low taxes.
yeah.
New York and the Northeast, Boston, and all these cities have been very high priced for a very long time because of the taxation policies of those states and those municipalities. Miami's never had that issue. Miami's a purely inflationary issue. And
It's crazy to see how things went up pretty much as I was leaving, things were going up. I was able and lucky enough to keep my rent low, but as soon as I left, I saw prices skyrocketing down in Miami.
Bro, I'm telling you, it's freaking crazy. You can't get a one. I saw a studio the other day listed. A studio apartment, mind you, it was a nice studio apartment downtown. But you're talking a studio apartment for over $1 million. Yeah. A studio apartment for over $1 million. I'm not kidding. Not kidding about that. It's freaking insane.
Yeah, it's insanity. I mean, I was paying over 3K in my spot, 1 bedroom.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. And I think back to just 4 or 5 years ago in Arizona, I had a luxury 1-bedroom apartment for $1,200
Whew.
in a brand new community with a beautiful pool, great gym, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I remember I moved into my first luxury building.
Jay Blaze, where in the country are you? Remind me. He says 1,500 to 2,000 for an apartment where he is. Remind me where that is. Also, and I think back to Texas. This is, mind you, okay, this was about 13 years ago. I had a 3-bedroom house, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, brand new. We built it. 2-car garage, big front yard, huge backyard, very good location. Guess how much my mortgage was with insurance and taxes included?
How much?
$950.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not
That
bad.
house today is still renting out for I think $1,300.
That's nuts.
It's insane. He's in Maine, so 1,500 to 2,000 for an apartment in Maine. For a 1-bedroom, okay. Being in the Northeast, that doesn't surprise me. But that's less than Miami. In Miami, you can't get right now. You can't get a 1-bedroom for less than 2,400.
Dude, I remember I had a luxury apartment overlooking Manhattan, 1 bedroom. I got it for $13.95.
That's really good.
Right now, I think they're asking over 21 for that same space.
Yeah, you remember my apartment in downtown Miami in Wynwood? When I moved in there, I was paying $1,800. Mind you, it was the middle of the pandemic when I moved in. But
Yeah.
once my 1-year lease was up, once that was up, they wanted to raise my rent to $2,800. That's
What?
$1,000 increase in 1 year.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
It
insane.
was a
They
great
just
apartment,
recently,
great location, and I got a hell of a deal on. I think I got a great deal on that first move in, but
yeah,
$1,000 increase. That's untenable.
they just recently did that to one of my friends.
Yeah, it's
Over $1,000. I was like, how is that even legally like okay?
I don't know. I don't know if it is legally okay, but see, that's the thing. We're so uninformed. There are so many false and erroneous sources of information out there that people aren't willing to look through all the crap to figure out if it's legal or not.
Yeah, look what Jay Blaze said. They want you to have rent so high so that you can't save
Yeah.
for a down payment for a house.
It's
Dude, you
like,
have a lot of corporations are now buying homes,
yep.
and a lot of people are just buying homes and Airbnb-ing them, putting them on Verbo. I went to a shore house over the weekend,
Now I don't
and
know. It
I
almost
was talking to my cousin,
Uh-huh.
and my cousin was telling me, he was like, dude, the houses down here, they used to be like 250, 300. Dude, this is all down the Jersey Shore in desolate areas. And now, same houses are going for 550, 600. They like doubled in price in like the
Does
past
it
10
feel
years.
does it almost feel like we're in the middle of a housing bubble that's about to pop?
I don't even know. I don't know what I feel like is about to pop, but it doesn't feel good. It definitely feels like something's about to pop.
Well, I tell you, we are way off the 8-year economic cycle. Like something should have. Well, the pandemic kind of threw a wrench into that, but we should have had an economic crash a while ago. The economic cycle is about 8 years, and 2008. You think 2016? That's when it should have been due. Pandemic was 2021. We were already due for it. Now, if the pandemic stopped it, great. But then that means if it gets back on track next year, 2024, another 8 years, we'll be having an economic downturn.
I mean, they're saying we're turning down now, so
Yeah.
I'm seeing it in my industry. So
Yeah.
things are getting weird. Things are definitely getting weird.
Yeah, that's no doubt, buddy. That's no doubt. All right, let's do final thoughts here. We're almost at an hour, and we'll get out of here. And I feel like it's been a depressing show. I feel so bad about the world right now.
Honestly, that's literally. I just feel so beaten down by the world.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to get back to being able to enjoy myself a little bit,
And
like a smidge.
let me bring it back to something that we talked about. I want to say 10 episodes ago. Hats off to the passport bros, man. Get your passport. Get the hell out of here. If you have some kind of pension or some kind of job that you can really do remote and make a good amount of money, go to Costa Rica, go to Portugal, go to Colombia, live it up, man. Because those dollars will go a long way in those countries.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give kudos to passport bros going out there looking for women. I think that's a cop out. If you're a man of value, you can still get a woman of value here. No offense to any of those guys doing that out there,
I don't blame them at all.
but I will give them kudos for trying something different with their life. It's
Yeah.
going to shape them as a person and all around make them better.
You know what? That does it. I'm moving to Costa Rica.
Dude, I'm about to become a mud hut person and just build my own stuff and live off the land because
Off the land. There's
I think
people
that
out
would
there.
be more of a fulfilling life right now, bro.
Yeah. I know plenty of people who've done that. They go out and they just live off the land, build themselves a little bunker. They stay off the grid. They come into town once a week to check their email, and that's it.
Interesting. It would be an interesting way of life. Simple, 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 simple.
Yeah, definitely. My final thought would be there's no magic button we can press. There's no I don't think there's a practical solution to not just to the inflation problem, but to the whole pay gap problem where men need to step up and make more money in order to bring women down to earth. I think, these distractions, like we talked about earlier, Bud Light and all these things, they are distractions. We do care about them because here in America, we care about our morality and our culture, or not our culture, but our values a whole lot more than other countries. But ultimately, they are distractions. And with election season starting up, I think this is going to get a whole lot worse until it gets any better.
Seriously.
I think it's going to get really bad, especially give it December, January. It's going to be really bad when the election really gets going. But all right, with that, we're going to go ahead and get up out of here for tonight. This is the J&J Dating Dynamics podcast. This was episode 38. Men need to step up. We're nearing episode 40. And let's see if we can get Donovan and maybe some other special guests for episode 40. And yeah, let's get up out of here and y'all have a good night. Peace out.
Let's do it. Good night.
Wait, I forgot to bring up the thing. Okay, now, peace out. Good night.